Alright everyone, I wanted to make a quick video talking about the debate that took place today, September 30th, 2022, between Styxhexenhammer and Jessica Burbank, who is a contributor to the Young Turks. Now this particular debate centered around the topic of unions. Styx was arguing against unions, Jessica was arguing in favor of unions. Okay. So things got started off with Jessica talking about her coming from a working class background. She got into Brown University. She claims that she's not an elite, but yet somehow she got into Brown and then went to graduate school, and she learned information that's not available, I guess, unless you go to college. That's not really true, but that's what she argued. And Styx talked about his background. He comes from a lower class type background in Vermont, and he was arguing against unions, or mainly against forced unionization. Jessica really lost me when she would never acknowledge that there could be somebody who would want to work for an organization without being forced to join a union. So, it's a major sticking point to me when somebody says, well, you have to do something as a condition of employment. And her argument to that was, well, if you work for a corporation, you have to agree to, the stipulations of the corporation. Okay, well, that's who you're working for. A union is a third party, right? Because if you're working for a particular type of job and you're a union member, the union is a third party. So you're still working for a company, right? Now, one of the other interesting things is that Jessica didn't seem to want to answer that pointed question of should somebody, an employee, have the right to not be a member of the union. And she basically, her answer to that was, no, somebody should not have the right to not join a union because it's in their best interest. Now, that's easy for her to say because she's actually not a member of a union. She's an independent contractor who works for the Young Turks. So, kind of a pretty interesting point right there. Now, one of the other things that caught my attention was that Styx asked Jessica repeatedly, during this debate, why she was looking down on people, because she kept saying, well, I can't understand why somebody wouldn't want to join a union. It's in their best interest. But, meanwhile, she's complaining about, these so-called, mega corporations, talking down to their employees. Now, if somebody doesn't want to join a union because, their union dues could possibly go towards supporting political candidates that don't support their ideas, well, she doesn't support their freedom to do that. So, to me, this wasn't even really a challenging debate for Styx. This was a clear victory for Styx. He basically did the debate with half his brain tied behind his back. I'll post a link to the debate in the description here, but if you don't want to sit through the 45-minute debate, you're basically getting the Cliff Notes version here. It was funny actually. After the debate was over, the host was going through some super chats, and they were just coming in one after another, bashing this Jessica chick, criticizing her point of view, and she did not take it well. She ended up calling these people incels. Obviously, an insult. Now, she has no idea who these people are, but it just shows you that, well, she really couldn't take the heat. So this was a clear victory for Styx. He's right, and I'm somebody that can acknowledge if somebody's arguing a point of view that I don't happen to agree with, but they're a good debater. I can acknowledge that Jessica was a very poor debater, and especially going into this with somebody, with the of the caliber of Styx. He's a smart dude. He's been in a ton of debates in his day, and he kind of lives for that sort of thing. So he absolutely destroyed Jessica. Now I will give Jessica credit for actually engaging in the debate, because that seems to be a thing going on now, is that leftists just completely refuse to debate anybody that disagrees with them. So again, I'll post a link to the debate in the description. I do recommend that you check it out, and I'm curious to know what you all think. And this particular debate centered on the topic of unions, so it was a very sort of focused debate, which I think is a good thing, because obviously things can sort of go off the rails when you're focusing on something that's so broad. But in this case, Styx was just he was on his A game here, and Jessica was, I think, not prepared for what she was dealing with. So yeah. In any case, again, thanks for checking out the video. And I want to know what you all think. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I'll try to respond to as many as I can. And I'll see you on the next one.